What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I want to talk about the narrative that's going around about the Xbox Series X that is being perpetuated by certain people in the media, video game media, that is. One particular person that I just heard today, he's not the only one, but I'm going to shout him out because he's the most recent one that I heard. And he made a big deal about it on Gamertag Radio. His name is Parris Lilly. Now, of course, everybody knows Parris. Come on, son. I was going to call him Parris the Parrot, parroting Parris, because he's basically saying a lot of stuff that certain devs are saying, and then by that, a bunch of donkey unicorns and ponies are saying. Now, what he said was that he wants Microsoft to come out and, produce a statement basically addressing what the issues are with the Series S. And the thing that he said that makes me side-eye a little bit because it's unfounded, it's hearsay, basically. He said he thinks it's a RAM issue. Now, I've heard that before as well, and I've said that before, but I am nobody. Nobody listens to me. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares. Parris Lilly, on the other hand, has an audience, has some cachet in the industry. So when people hear him, like, oh, he's adding on to the narrative that may not even be true. Here's what I think. Larian is not a big studio. Now, this has to do with Larian and Baldur's Gate 3, and also all the other instances of multiplayer split screen multiplayer is not working on this because of the Series S. That's the narrative, right? But for instance, Halo Infinite, the multiplayer didn't work because there was cross-gen. That's a cross-gen game. It's not gonna work on the Xbox One or the One X. But here's my thing, right? So it's not impossible, because we've had games previously in way weaker generations that had multiplayer, that had split screen. The original Halo had split screen multiplayer, or at least Halo 2 did. Anyway, didn't matter. So there really is no excuse unless they say, well, we can't have 480p graphics because blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, I understand that, but it's still not impossible. Anyway, besides that, I understand his wanting for Microsoft to say something, but what I believe is happening is that Larian is a small studio. They do not have the resources, nor the manpower, nor the money to do all the consoles at the same time. So they're doing what they can right now, meaning the easiest. Now, is it really that hard for these geniuses that make these video games? It's not hard, it's different. It's a different hardware architecture. If you can make it work on a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally, or even a Switch, which a lot of games work on the Switch, why can't you make it work on the S? Is there a secret contract going on where Sony paid you, but you can't say that Sony paid you because you don't want to look bad, Sony? I don't know. Maybe. That's a possibility. Who knows? But saying that it's a RAM issue without getting all the factors in and saying, well, sure, it's a RAM issue that differentiates the differences in how you approach the problem, but that's not holding it back. Time and money and manpower is holding it back. If they had 500 more devs working on it, it would be done. It would be done. And 500 more devs means what? More money, more manpower, more resources. It would be done. So the problem is not, the Xbox Series S is the RAM because it's RAM and doesn't have enough RAM. No. The problem is they don't have enough people to do it because they didn't get the money. That's the problem. And I'm surprised he didn't even mention that. He just went straight to, it's the RAM, it's the hardware, it sucks, that's why. I'm like, that's not how video games, he's a smart dude. He knows that's not how video games work. So why would you perpetuate a lie? Why would you perpetuate some donkey unicorn tomfoolery? Why would you say these things? When you know that the bottom line is, I've heard it time and time again, it's time and money. the devs, and this is not even pertaining to video games. It's pertaining to special effects, for instance, like movie special effects, because I watched Corridor Digital, right? The Corridor Crew guys, Corridor Crew. And they always say that because that's all they do is they do VFX. That's all they do. VFX. That's all they do. Special effects, video effects. That's all they do, right? And they said they can look at certain scenes and say, well, they needed more time on that one, or well, you know, or they see some scenes like, man, they spent years on that. That's good. And they always say it. You can look at a whole bunch of their videos and they will say time and money. If you give these effects artists enough time and enough money, well, if you give them time, you're gonna give them the money, right? If you give them enough time and money, they will get it done, and it will be the most beautiful effects you've ever seen, and that applies to video games as well, video game development. And I know I said this before, because I remember saying it before, but that's the reality. And so by not mentioning that is kind of portraying the actual facts, the actual reality of the situations falsely. And I would expect more from Parris Lilly, a very intellectual, a very smart individual in the video game space. Not a pony, not a donkey unicorn, not a bot, but a smart dude. And a little disappointed, but you know, some people slip on banana peels. It's okay. It's okay. He's not a bad dude. I still like him. I still like his content. He's all good to me. But I'm just saying, look, stop perpetuating half-truths. You know, you can want Microsoft to say something about it, but I think why they're not saying it is because of what I just said. Larian needs more people. It's not about the S, it's about their inability to do it at the same time. They need more time. Also, they might have had a discussion with Microsoft and said, yo, we can't do it. I mean, we could do it, but it's not gonna come. And they said, you know what, don't worry about it. We got Starfield. We don't, you know, your game will come out later on the Xbox and then it'll shine, you know, because if Baldur's Gate comes when it's supposed to come out, like with the PS5 version and stuff, it's gonna go right up against Starfield. Guess who's gonna win that one? Starfield's gonna win that one. So it'll actually hurt Baldur's Gate sales on Xbox if it comes out now. So that's another thing to think about. It's timing. I bet you Larian would delay it even more away from Starfield, but there's no place to really delay it to. I mean, there is, because, you know, it's an RPG and stuff. But anyway, so let me know in the comments below. All these goofy people. Well, Parris isn't goofy, but I'm just, you know, kind of putting them all into a nice little pile. But it's about these narratives that just aren't totally true. You got to take into account all the factors as to why, and not omit some stuff, omit some facts that affect the actual overall outcome. Acting like, oh, it's all about the S. It's not. It's not. I mean, is that going to be the same excuse when the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out? Is that going to be something that they say, oh, well, you know, it's harder to do on the PlayStation 5 Pro, so it's going to take longer, or it's going to, we're code. They're not going to code specifically for a bespoke new piece of hardware. They're going to code for the PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, which is what they've been doing all generation. Oops. You know? So then they will say, okay, well then we'll upscale it. So PlayStation 5 Pro is really kind of just goofy. But anyway, get on a tangent. But I appreciate y'all hanging out there. Subscribe. I'm not almost. I think I gained 1 sub. I appreciate you. I saw your comment. I'm a comment back. I just didn't have time today. I'll probably do it later today. I appreciate. But yeah, just keep, like I said, I read them all. You see the thumb? That was me. And I'm definitely gonna comment, because you left a nice long juicy comment and you subbed, and I appreciate. I don't remember your name exactly, but I saw it and I was like, oh man, that person subbed to me, and I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. You know, every little bit helps. You know, my little dinky winky channel. Maybe I'll be like Parris one day, telling lies. I was playing. But anyway, let me know in the comments about this whole, you know, Xbox Series S. I don't think it's a big deal, but whatever. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Birds are loud. And I'll see you on the next one. TILTOWAIT.